We're talking about people who have denied their souls and what we can do about it. Let's get started for the week beginning November 12th, 2018.
Sailors passing on the street, are you ready for peace? Ships are filling up fast, are you ready for ease? Forget bad memories and leave those hurting knees behind. Birds are filling up the sky, are you willing to try? Right. Sing along as they hum and be fulfilled. Many more will come, many more under the sun. Pack your finest suit. We will keep.
Hello, everyone. It's Michelle Patterson here with Angel Souls, and this is our weekly angelic message for the week beginning November 12th, 2018. Before we get started, as always, if you would like a personal reading with me, just go to my website at angelsouls444.com, the services tab. Please make sure that you read all the instructions so that you know what you're getting into, okay? Of course, we have all the courses up at Gumroad, including extra readings. All that information is down below. And if you'd like to support me on Patreon, again, information down below. So let's just get into it here. Okay, it's a weird one. Adjustments in a changed world. It will not go back to the old way, so think not upon it. It is time for new. Keep moving ahead. We see your pain and we see your struggle. You may have grown tired in pushing forward, so why push? Easy for them to say, right? But they're even saying now that's how our brains function. We think we have to keep striving and pushing, and we may get stuck in the past. We over-romanticize the past, and then we keep, cycling around. All right. It says, relax in your present is more peaceful. But what of the happenings everywhere, you may ask? These are by people who do not acknowledge their soul, and so see no soul in another, and so see them as mere objects. This is why they do as they do. I think they're talking about some of the, I want to be careful with my language here because we have children watching, but some of the happenings around the world where people just, they don't see others as valuable because they don't see themselves as valuable. And so they go in and they have acts of violence, and it's a whole thing. So I think what they're getting at here is, if they understood that they themselves were valuable, if they knew they had a soul, they would see others, they would see themselves as precious, but they would also see others as precious. And therefore, like most of us, would never do that, right? But they're bringing it up because we're supposed to be looking at it, which is interesting. So they go on. So how will you remedy this? By talking to them about the importance of the soul. So they start kind of addressing people who want to go and preach at others. I'm going to save you. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And it's really diminishing. And especially as they say here, they will not hear. And I spelled it wrong. Well, maybe I can blame it on them because it was an Autowrite. But anyway, they will not hear. So most people would shut down to that if they're getting talked at. And that's not how we should be helping one another. Yeah, we help each other through understanding what the other is going through, trying to understand their perspective through empathy and love, not saying you don't, worship the way that I do, therefore you're less than. You don't believe as I do, therefore you are less than. And, people who take a spiritual path, who claim to be enlightened over everybody else, they're just as bad as the people they try to protest against. Do you know what I mean? Because they're, again, invalidating people. They're talking down to them and so on. So they're saying this won't work. This is not going to work. You must show them love at an early age. Show them that which the soul is made of. So make them aware of the soul through love, and pray for it is all. And pray for it is all. I think that's all you can do is pray for them with love, angels, and guides. This goes into this whole idea of being careless with one another. They're making me feel like people who tend to go down that road and really deny their soul. For some, it's a protection. Like they want to protect the most vulnerable part of themselves. And so they stop caring. They kind of tuck away their soul. They stop caring. They start just acting out. The example I gave before, that's the most extreme example. But there are other examples where children are just not wanting to connect with other children. And it could be that they just don't see the value in themselves, and so they push everybody else away. So there is a message here to start expressing a little more empathy, start expressing a little more love, especially towards kids. We talk about that all the time. So pretty simplistic message, and yet, when I was writing it, I was a little like, whoa, okay, but we need to start making the change. We need to start being more proactive about showing each other just how worthy we really are and how precious we are and how appreciated we are. Sorry about that. My battery had the nerve to conk out on me. I thought it was fresh, but I think I grabbed the wrong battery, but whatever. Sorry about that. But what I was saying is a lot of people might comment and say, oh, you think people really go out and do violent acts because they don't feel appreciated? Let's not oversimplify what I'm saying here, right? I mean, there's a deeper implication here that people, if they're not taught that they're worthy, if they're not taught that life is worthwhile, if they're, what I'm saying, like they will start to act out. So again, that's probably a bigger thing than what we're going to get into here, but we're going to get onto the cards. Just try to consider that this week. Be kind and pray. That's what this is essentially telling us. Okay, let's get onto the cards. All right, so let's see what is going on here for the week of November 12th. So it kind of makes me wonder what's going to be happening out there in the world. I think there's going to be a lot of emphasis on the big why. Why is this happening? Of course, there could be, things happening, natural disasters and things happening in the world, or people just acting out in crazy ways. And we're going to have to start looking at it. We've been having to look at that for a very long time, but we're getting to a new level perhaps of understanding. All right, so let's see what we have here. We have Croquet sexuality. So there could be some things coming out about sexuality, and hopefully this isn't crimes having to do with sexuality, God forbid, but this is it feels like a societal thing. I really hope there isn't a whole bunch of controversy around this. There could be some issues around this coming up. We are in the time of Scorpio. Happy birthday, Scorpios. But sort of the dark and hidden starting to come out. This could be on a very individual level as well. Oops, sorry about the glare. There we go. This could be on a very individual level as well. But we're going to be looking at how much is our business? You know what I mean? Because again, it feels like it's on a worldwide stage. It's, this could be like a religious group really coming out, and I did hear protests. So there could be protests against, homosexuals or, something like that, and they're saying attached to identities. So I don't know, sexual identity. And then there's this feeling on the personal level too of awakening that sacral chakra. Okay, so this is all about manifestation energy. But that first message was there could be things going on out there, issues around this. And it's all being brought to light to get us to think. It's all being brought to light to, again, it comes back to we're not here to segregate and push out anybody. We're here to love one another, right? But again, there's this other weird secondary thing where it's like on a personal level, on an individual level, there's going to be some growth around this. So there could be growth around your creativity, again, around intimacy. Perhaps for some of you, if you're in a partnership, you're getting closer now. That really does, they're saying it really does talk about life force as well. So creating what it is that you want, but being very aware. Is that what you want? Are you sure? Right? Do you really think that'll make you happy? So it's interesting that had so many different layers to it, but we'll get more of the story here. Okay, here we go. As you're right, expanded awareness. Again, it goes perfectly with that. We're taking a look at our society. We're taking a look at how we treat one another. We're taking a look at ourselves. You know what I mean? And being honest with yourselves. If you hear a story out there, let's say, and the popular opinion is against your own, really look at, why do I feel that way, right? And where does that come from? And of course, this is connecting into a higher source. And I don't know what the heck. Can you guys be clear about, honesty? Thank you. Azurite is all about, they're telling me it's communication and communicating honestly. So something, again, it could be some societal issues coming out, some groups clashing, but also us kind of getting more aware and starting to talk about some issues that really need to be discussed. Okay. All right. So we have pyromorphite patience. So whatever the discussion is on a societal level this week, we have to have some patience here, and patience with one another. We have to have patience with the situation. And then, of course, for each of you, have patience in how, whatever it is that you're creating. You might just have the idea this week, or maybe you're just starting that relationship or something like that. Don't rush into anything, right? They're saying the beauty of the gift is the creation part of it. So like, enjoy it. Don't just try to get to the end so that you can hurry up and do whatever with it. Enjoy the process. So I like that a lot. Oh, dropped the other card. Hold on. What do we have here? Ooh, that came right out of the deck. Amazonite life purpose. So things are shifting, things are changing, things are being born, things are being created. We're shifting in the world. We're shifting as individuals, and we need to have patience as we embark on this other level of our life's path and purpose. So often people will define their purpose as basically whatever their label is. What's my title? How do I show up in this world? And this is no. This has to do with you as a collective learning your lessons around what it is to be connected to this earth, to be grounded in this earth, to express, to create, to bring life forward, and life force, letting that express through you. This is all a part of your purpose, and this is what you're exploring this week. So this is incredible. Again, I don't say this at the end of the video too often, but this might be a really good time to get a personal reading if you want to know exactly how these energies are playing out. But definitely we're learning something new. It could be shocking. It could be something like, whoa, we still have a problem with this, or setback. Yeah, some people are going to see this as a huge, huge, huge setback. And it's because the oppressors are now oppressed and they don't like that, right? And so they're going to, and the thing is too, remember what we said, we don't want to foster people's hate. We don't want to keep that going, and we don't want to do this thing where we are invalidating, because as we said, as soon as you invalidate somebody, they don't want to listen to you. They don't want to see your perspective, right? You're the enemy. So we don't want to have this dynamic where we just have this back and forth with enemies, right, wrong, black or white, what have you. This is one of the biggest lessons that we're learning. Life is not black or white. Even though we have this very polarized existence and we're in, a duality consciousness, we really have to start to kind of come together and go, okay, maybe those aren't my choices, but I respect that they are yours. Okay, this might be where you want to get the kids away from the computer. It's not going to be too graphic, but they'll ask questions. So I'm giving the warning right now. You got 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This could be sex crimes, things coming to light, but it's not just about the sex crimes or sexual abuse, God forbid. It's not just about that. We're really looking at, why does this keep happening, right? We're getting into trying to figure out the solution. And we can't figure out the solution until we understand how people operate and how they tick. Now, for me, the message that I'm getting around that is that we're misusing that sacral chakra. And this is also where, that's the emotional body. So when people are emotionally damaged, they become psychologically damaged, and their creative life force stops. And then they feel like life isn't worth living. And if life isn't worth living, it goes in with the Autowrite of, let's see here, what to say? There are people who do not acknowledge their soul, and so see no soul in another, and so see them as mere objects. This is why they do what they do. So when they feel like they don't have access to their own soul, there's just no point. This is where we start triggering into some really big problems on a grand scale, but exposing, there's a lot of exposing, bringing forward. And they're talking about this life's purpose. It's not just about individuals, it's our life. It's the whole reason why we come here. It's the reason why we've all chosen to be here at the same time. So there's some realization around that as well. But again, talking about that misuse of the sacral chakra, it's almost like people are trying to abuse themselves a little bit when they abuse others. I know it sounds weird. Okay, lots of things being brought to light. Lots of people, I mean, this is like, people are going to be charged with crime and they're going to go to jail, or not jail, prison. They'll go to prison. And then it's going to spark a conversation. Thank you. It's going to spark a conversation. And this isn't your typical social warrior movement kind of thing, which can, in the way some people approach that, it can have its own pretentiousness. And then nobody wants to listen, and it kind of ends up not doing the good that it was intended to do. But this might be more of a, an open-hearted kind of conversation. But unfortunately, I feel like it comes from people with broken hearts coming forward. And because their hearts are broken, their hearts are open. And they're looking for healing. They're looking to be seen. They're looking to be understood. Of course, we'll have people who want to come back and combat that and say, well, we're in this messed up world where we don't even know what the truth is anymore. Who can we believe? Who can we trust? Now, this is where we're going to have to really start hanging in there with one another and not abandon one another. All right. So whatever this is, again, I'm trying to focus on the energy of the week of November 12th, but it may not necessarily just happen in the week. It could go on. But I do feel like it's incredibly, it's healing. It's peaceful, because Amazonite is very peaceful. It's coming to terms with. It's acceptance. It's flowing into the understanding of a situation. Okay, so let's get the color card. Now I got to move everything around. How did I move cards all over my little table here? My goodness. All right, so let's see what else we have. All right, that should, maybe one more. One more shuffle. All right, let's see what we have. We have Peach. Inhale a breath of life. The number is 19. You'll get through this. That's what this is saying. You will get through this. Can you see this card at all? There we go. So whatever comes up, especially if you have ever been the victim of some sort of abuse or something like that, you will get through it. You will get through it by embracing life, right? And knowing that your past does not define your future. And you can relax into your present. So connecting in with the breath is going to aid in the healing. It's going to aid in the understanding. It's going to help with the expanded awareness, right? So it's going to help us see things from a higher perspective. And from there, things should make a little bit more sense. I just realized why you can't see this. The sun is like, boom, right there. There's, excuse me, there's fresh snow everywhere. It's reflecting up. I feel blinded, but I always leave in the description what the card deck is. So if you want to look it up online, you can always do that as well. But what I was saying here is that, everything that pops up in our face that we maybe don't want to deal with, if we just give it some time and attention, we can get to a solution. But we're going to have to work together. We are getting into times where we are very, very isolated from one another. Social media makes it easy to seem like we're having a social life, but I said this one time and somebody got really upset and they're like, my best friends are people I've never met, and if that's how you believe, that's fine. All right. But it's a far different experience when you're online than if you're face to face with somebody. It just is. So keep it together through the breath. We have to be there for one another. Whatever comes up may be really uncomfortable. It might make people angry. It might really spur people to do something, right? To action, because we always think action is going to be the thing that heals us all. But really, whatever that triggers within you, we need to focus on our own healing, focus on the collective healing, and learn how to get to the root of the cause. Okay? So I think that's it. All right, so we're going to leave it there. Have a beautiful week, and I'm sending you so much love. Take care.
Just reboot. Grass is greener on this side. Are you ready for new? New beginnings, new pride. Let your spirit shine.